All right, so we're diving into the world of power plant control room operators.
Yeah, definitely an important job.
Absolutely. And you sent us a ton of RoleCatcher resources on it.
Yeah, it seems like you're thinking about a career change.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff. Keeping the lights on for everyone, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, no kidding, no pressure, right?
And this RoleCatcher material is great. It even breaks down the career in stages.
Oh, yeah, I see that. From entry level all the way up to like a senior operator role.
That's what's so cool about RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
They don't just tell you about the job itself, but like they lay out that whole path for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you're in the control room. The fate of the power grid is in your hands.
Right.
They use this term switch yard.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, kind of sounds intimidating.
Yeah.
What are we talking about there?
So picture like a massive power grid intersection.
Yeah.
Like a super busy freeway interchange, but for electricity.
Got it.
And the control room operator is basically the one directing all that traffic, making sure all that energy flows smoothly and safely.
So that's what a switch yard is.
Essentially, yeah, they're monitoring the voltage, the frequency, all of that.
And making sure it gets where it needs to go.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing dealing with potential blackouts is part of that job description.
Well, absolutely. That's a very real part of it.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. RoleCatcher actually talks about this one operator in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They had this ice storm come through really suddenly.
Oh, no.
And they were able to use all the real-time data analysis to reroute the power.
Wow.
And they avoided a blackout for thousands of homes.
That's amazing.
All because they were able to think quickly on their feet and make decisions under pressure.
That's incredible.
That's impressive.
That's some real-life hero stuff.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, so high pressure, high stakes.
Right.
But RoleCatcher also points out that there's good salary and job security.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's got to be reassuring.
For sure, the world's demand for electricity isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
That's true.
So they're going to need skilled people to keep those power plants running.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And on top of that, technology in the energy sector, it's always changing.
Right.
So it's not like a stagnant career, you know?
You're just doing the same thing forever.
Exactly. There's room for growth.
So RoleCatcher was highlighting some of those advancement paths.
They were. Things like becoming a shift supervisor
Oh,
or even moving up to a power plant manager role.
interesting.
Yeah. So there's definitely potential there.
So speaking of technology, though,
Yeah.
it's not just flipping switches anymore, right?
No, definitely not.
RoleCatcher mentioned gauges, generators, meters.
Oh, yeah. It's all very high tech now.
They even mentioned remote control equipment.
Yeah, it's a totally different ballgame than it used to be.
So it's like computerized systems, a wall of screens and stuff.
Exactly. They're using these SCADA systems, supervisory control, and data acquisition to monitor and control basically the entire plant, all remotely.
So you need some serious brain power for this.
Definitely analytical skills are key.
RoleCatcher lists mechanical knowledge, engineering and technology, even physics as important.
Yeah, you need a solid understanding of all those areas.
That's a lot.
It can feel overwhelming, but RoleCatcher gives you a lot of ways to actually build those skills,
Oh, good.
which is really helpful.
So like what? What kind of stuff do they suggest?
Well, they highlight some specific certifications,
Okay.
like the power plant operator certification
Makes sense.
and the control room operator certification.
So those are good starting points.
Definitely, especially if you're switching careers like you are.
Though those certifications sound really useful.
Yeah, definitely a good place to start.
I'm also seeing something here about professional organizations.
Oh, yeah, for sure. RoleCatcher specifically mentioned NAPETME.
NAPE.
Yeah, it stands for the National Association of Power Engineers.
Okay.
It's like, if you're in this field, this is the place to be for professional development and all that.
So what kind of stuff do they offer?
Well, they have networking opportunities, of course. You can meet other people in the industry.
Right.
They've got some really good industry-specific training, too,
Okay.
and mentorship programs,
Oh, cool.
which I think could be really valuable.
Yeah, especially in a field like this.
Right, having someone to guide you, someone who's been there,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
so you're not just out there on your own, you know?
Exactly. It's amazing how RoleCatcher thinks of everything.
Right.
They even break down the core functions and abilities for this job.
Oh, yeah, I saw that section.
And I'm seeing troubleshooting at 57%.
It's a big part of the job, for sure.
That must be so satisfying, though.
What's that?
Like, to identify and fix a problem,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
especially when the stakes are that high.
Yeah, there's a real sense of accomplishment.
I bet.
RoleCatcher actually had this one example. This operator noticed something weird in the data.
Oh, really?
Yeah, coming from one of the generators. It turned out to be a faulty sensor.
Oh.
But if they hadn't caught it, could have been a major equipment failure.
Oh, wow.
and a potential power outage. So
They saved the day.
they did, yeah, averted a disaster.
That's a good catch.
Yeah, they probably got a nice bonus for that one.
Right. I bet they've got those bragging rights framed on the wall.
Saved the city from darkness, no problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But seriously, that just shows how important those problem-solving skills are.
Well, for sure, you got to be able to think on your feet,
Right?
analyze complex information, make decisions quickly
Because those decisions have a real impact.
on people's lives. Absolutely.
And speaking of impact, RoleCatcher is really clear that it's not just about keeping the lights on.
No, it's not just that.
It's about doing it safely.
Safety is paramount.
Rightfully so.
Absolutely. One wrong move could be disastrous.
They dedicate a whole section to safety regulations, protective gear.
Yeah, they're serious about it, as they should be.
So what kind of specific safety stuff are we talking about?
Well, they talk about lockout tagout procedures.
Okay, to prevent accidents, I assume?
Exactly. Make sure equipment doesn't start up accidentally when it shouldn't.
Smell.
And emergency shutdown procedures, too.
So if something goes wrong,
You got to know how to shut the whole thing down safely,
Right.
minimize any potential damage or harm.
that's reassuring to know that safety is such a big focus.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be top priority.
This actually reminds me of something else RoleCatcher mentioned.
What's that?
Those interview questions they provide.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I bet a lot of those are about safety procedures.
Oh, you better believe it. They're going to want to know you can handle that responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. They want to know that you can handle it, that you're taking it seriously.
Absolutely. And, you know, speaking of responsibility,
Yeah.
one thing that really stood out to me from all this RoleCatcher stuff
Yeah.
is how much they emphasize lifelong learning.
Oh, that's a good point. You can't just learn it all once and then you're done.
No way. Not in this field. It's constantly changing.
Right. With all the new technology and everything.
Exactly. New technologies are popping up all the time.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, they mentioned smart grids
Oh, right.
and all the advancements in renewable energy.
Integrating those into the grid, yeah.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher actually talked about how that's changing the job itself.
So the operators need to be ready for anything.
Adaptable. That's the key word. Always learning new things.
So it's more than just knowing how to do the job right now.
Right? You have to stay ahead of the curve.
So how do they recommend doing that?
Well, they mentioned additional certifications.
Okay, makes sense. So you're always getting those updates.
Right. And attending industry conferences to see what's new, what's coming next.
Oh yeah, those are always interesting.
Yeah, you get to network, learn from the experts.
Soaking up all that knowledge.
Exactly. And even like down the line, maybe an advanced degree.
Oh, wow. So you could really take this career far.
Oh, absolutely. The sky's the limit.
This has been super interesting.
It really has.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface of all the info that RoleCatcher has on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's so much more there.
But it's clear that this is not just a job.
Right. It's more than that.
It's a commitment.
A commitment to, yeah, keeping the lights on, to constant learning and making sure everyone's safe.
Well said. So to our listener,
Yeah.
if this sounds like your kind of challenge,
Yeah, if you're up for it,
if you're like, yeah, I want to be the one who keeps things running, this might be it.
it could be the perfect fit.
Becoming a power plant control room operator, it's a big job.
It is, but it's a rewarding one, too.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one sharing your experience,
Passing on the knowledge.
inspiring the next generation.
That's right. Always got to pay it forward.
That's it for our deep dive into power plant control room operators.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We sure did.
We'll catch you next time. Stay curious, everyone.